Anyway, to the cards. 9 of Swords, 6 of Wands, Ace of Swords for the main story. 6 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords for the outcome. This is interesting because I feel like you make headway in a situation with the main story, but I feel like as an outcome, if you're looking for a solution to a problem, or if there's a major decision to make, that there's no progress with that quite yet, or at least you need more time to think. There's a bit of a stalemate, and right now you're trying to rely on logic in order to see a clearer picture. And this can involve finances with the 6 of Pentacles. You're balancing out a situation, you're balancing out your money, or just generally trying to balance out your life if you feel like it's incredibly busy, for instance, and time management is coming up for me. But with the 2 of Swords, for the moment, I don't feel like action is being taken. Now, you have the Ace of Swords here, though, and the Ace of Swords is my card of clarity, truth, enlightenment. It's a big card, it's big energy, big conversations, you know, all the focus of the week. But it can be that with that information, with this clarity, you're not really moving forward just yet. You still need time to evaluate, figure out what's fair, for instance, with this 6. Now, you do have the 9 of Swords, so you are coming into the week quite a bit stressed. You've endured a stressful situation. You got a lot on your mind, maybe a lot on your plate in general, and that's keeping you up because she can't sleep. She's like looking at this crazy pattern. I mean, I'd probably be staying up trying to look at that too. It's weird. Anyway, she's unable to rest easy. She's got a lot on her mind. She's just juggling thoughts constantly and trying to put them to rest, but unable to. For the beginning, you got the 6 of Wands afterwards. So by midweek, I feel like you're progressing forward and you figure out a solution, or you figure out not so much a solution, but you gain clarity and you're able to put all the crazy thoughts to bed by the end of the week successfully with the 6 of Wands. I think if you're trying to formulate some sort of plan, or even if you're just concerned about being successful at something for the week, it's going to work out in your favor. So I do feel like for the most part, you're stressing over nothing because you end up winning out in a situation. And this satisfaction leads to clarity and like a big, yes, I can breathe. Yes, I know the answer. But then with the outcome, I feel like you need more time before making any further progress in a situation. So that's pretty broad. It doesn't necessarily feel like it ties to work, love, or anything. It just feels like you got a lot to think about this week. You might be hoping for success in a particular situation, be it love, work, otherwise. And I think that in those cases, you gain that success and recognition that you want. I mean, here you are a winner with the 6 of Wands, and that does come with communication. So it can be that, why am I saying, actually, let me get a quick clarifier for the Ace of Swords. Oh, the Emperor. All right, there are 2 ways that I'm seeing that Emperor. Emperor is a very strong energy. It's dominant. It's in control. And I'm feeling strongly that this week you gain control. You have a power over words. And the way you communicate to other people is strong. It's just like you can project, you can say, it's like your words lead you to success. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because I feel like you're very commanding. You have a commanding presence this week. Others of you, you're stressed about a situation where you might have to communicate with a boss figure or an older male. This person is someone who is authoritative, who might be above you he would be above you in the work environment. Or they just have a very commanding presence and you have to have very big discussions with them. And you do, and it ends up being successful. They recognize what you have to say, they're listening to you, and I feel like you gain power by the fact that you're being listened to by someone of a higher status for instance. It sounds weird saying higher status, but that's what I'm getting. I guess someone who has power in a situation has a great deal of respect for what you have to bring to the table and is listening to your ideas and thoughts. Someone that you can trust. There's patience here. There's the perfect mix, the perfect balance. I feel like your communication with this person is very stable and grounded. This person is like a mediator in a way too. They're like willing to listen to you, whereas maybe you were in a situation where you had for instance, a boss that you couldn't say shit to them without them, being dramatic or causing problems. It didn't feel right to ever communicate. I feel like in this case, you might have a different boss now because of a restructure or because you're at a different job, and there's open communication and there's a sense of freedom with that. Do I see any for romance? For romance, it doesn't seem too sexy. It seems like it's negative, but it seems like if you were hoping to get your ideas across again, or have a big conversation or communicate with a partner, at the beginning of the week, you're coming into it stressing like a crazy person. You might have sent the person a message saying, look, can we talk on Thursday or Friday? And then you send that Monday, and then you're stressing about it from Monday through Wednesday. But then by the time you have the conversation, it works out well. And it feels like a very balanced communication between you and another person. So it's just the outcome's a little weird. Let's see the Two of Swords. Why Two of Swords? Strength. I get this need to wait before taking action, before moving forward. It's like you can't do anything this week about a situation. Not as a negative, but for some reason you have to withhold. And that might be not so much a problem for you, but you might be a little antsy about it. So you're kind of trying to say emotions don't go out of control. Just put those aside. Gather up your inner strength for the sake of just waiting another week before you can resolve a situation or before you can take action. And the Star, I feel like, is emphasizing a waiting period. It's not out of reach, just might take a little more time. Continue to have the hope and positivity. It's there for you. All right, I keep shuffling. Actually, let me just do one more on the Nine of Swords, and I will let you go. All right, so I think with the Ace of Cups, your emotions at the beginning of the week are a little bit out of control. You might find yourself tearing up, or you just might find yourself, how do I describe that feeling? I guess it's just anxiety, but it's overwhelming anxiety to the point where you're shaking a little bit, or you're pacing back and forth, or, picking up things randomly. I have no idea. Why am I picking that up? Just because you're so in your head and anxious. I feel like it's a little bit out of control, as are your emotions for the beginning, but it's resolved by the end, so I wouldn't worry about it. At least from the beginning towards the middle. You've got the Queen of Wands here, and this can be someone that you're dealing with. This person can be someone that you've lost contact with, or a situation has ended. You cut them off, they cut you off, and it feels like that hard ending, it's no longer. So again, a situation may have ended where this Queen of Wands is concerned. Could be a fire sign, could simply be someone who was a previous partner who you've worked with, and again, they up and left, and it feels like if they're coming into the reading, again, they're obviously of significance. So important person who is no longer in your life, and it feels like you're struggling dealing with it. So you got the Five of Wands. There's a lot of conflict happening here. Now, you could still be fighting with this person. After a situation, again, has ended between you and this person, whether it's a business contract or an actual relationship, could be a family member and you're cutting off ties. It could be that there's some struggle here. I actually feel like it's less of a struggle between you and this person, because I don't feel like communication is happening any longer. But that you might be struggling internally with the fact that this situation has gone as far as it could. It's the Ten of Swords. This is also another ending. So with Death and the Ten of Swords, this situation has ended possibly in a painful way. And I feel like you're coming into the week with this. So I just think that this week is about still struggling with dealing with the pain involved in recovering from the fact that this person is no longer in your life. Now, what's interesting is at the end of the week, we have the World and the Emperor. And it does, for me, speak towards regaining control and completing the cycle, ending a chapter. So I'm not saying that all of a sudden the pain will be able to stop, but I think it does get better for you. I think you start seeing the bigger picture. You start looking ahead. You have the Two of Wands as one of your outcome cards. So I think you're starting to feel in control again and, you know, feeling better about your situation by the end of the week. And we've got a new chapter here. We've got, I think the Emperor could be your energy. Of course, it could be someone that you're dealing with that helps you. But I do think for the most part, this might be you again, taking your power back and ending this cycle and saying, all right, it's done. It's over. I really can't do anything. So I've got no choice but to look ahead and, you know, leave this behind. So I think that's what's happening here with the World. And the World as an ending for me is quite nice. It feels like despite this difficulty, it ends up becoming a peaceful transition into another situation for yourself. And on some level, I mean, the outcome, you do have the Seven of Swords, a card of deceit, with the Two of Wands. But I think this is you. I think this is you planning on just leaving behind, you know, that death, Ten of Swords, pain, and taking whatever you have left and looking beyond into the future. So some of you might actually decide to move or relocate, you know, go at a long distance away from this energy because maybe this person lives close by. You don't want to deal with them. You don't want to run into them. It could be something like that. But I get this vibe of this guy just like, I've got to leave. I've got to pack whatever's left that's positive and, you know, my belongings and just see what else is out there in order to just regain control. So I know it feels like quite dramatic for a week, but if you're not actually doing that, you're thinking about doing that. And it is a plan and it's something that might come to fruition later down in the line in January. So that's pretty much what is coming up here. Let me just see. Look at that. You got the Ace of Pentacles. So in some ways, it does feel like running away, but I think for your best interest because it's what you have to do. You might be doing it again in secret, so no one knows until you've moved far away. But that's because you don't need anyone to try to keep you or hold you back or give you 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't do what you're doing. With this, you're taking a brand new opportunity or it's coming in for you. This could be a new job elsewhere. This could be joining something of value. Something of value is basically coming into your life and I think allowing you to make a break for it, to make an escape. And you see the value in, again, this opportunity and I'm saying, this is my chance. I gotta take it in order to escape. I keep seeing the word escape with the Seven of Swords. In order to escape our good friends here, the Death and the Ten of Swords, because you don't want to be around that energy anymore. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys for the week until the following readings. Thank you for watching. Bye.